My name is Jessica Hattie.
My name is Jacob.
I'm Nate Salmon.
My name is Shai Portugali.
My name is Eli Vasquez.
It took me a little while to let go of the resistance that I had towards teaching online and start embracing it and seeing how much freedom it gives me and the students, and it's actually wonderful that the person in like India or in Los Angeles can study with me, and it's quite incredible if we just look at it this way.
Doing this stuff during this whole lockdown situation has been a learning process for sure. It's really nice to be able to like share things directly from my space to theirs as opposed to going into someone else's space.
As a matter of fact, I think it's better. Online I get closer. Even this view here, I like this view because they can see everything what I'm doing. They can see my hands when I do this.
Have your tech set up where you're comfortable, because now it's not just a studio where it's a space where you feel comfortable. It's a studio where you feel comfortable, and then it is the mode of transmission. So run your tech setup with a friend, like give your mom a guitar lesson, whatever it is, have a couple extra headphones and your cell phone and your laptop ready if you're using a tablet, whatever it is. Troubleshoot your tech.
I feel comfortable in my own space. I encourage my students to find their own space where they're comfortable, in their room or office, somewhere quiet where they can concentrate.
I always like to just check in, getting some updates on the person's life a little bit, just kind of sharing a more friend-like environment with that person.
I don't want to be strict, like this almighty musician that knows how to play everything. No, it's not like that. I don't want to be seen like that. I want them to relay me as a fun thing, something that I want to do, something that I want to accomplish, that I'm pursuing.
There may be a fair amount of performance anxiety happening for them right here and now on the call, which I'm ready to name and say, you're doing awesome. This is really courageous. I try to really give the student this sense that they're in a very safe environment and that I really know what I'm doing with them, but I'm not judging them.
What I've been noticing with Zoom is I keep telling them, just so they'll believe me that I'm right, hey, use the screen, watch yourself in the screen right now, as if this is a mirror, and start correcting these things, especially with the students who have their wrists like this and play like this. Immediately I say, watch yourself in the screen right now. You can see you need to adjust your hand position.
Any books that I'm working on with the students, I have a digital version of it, like PDF. I'll use the screen sharing and then annotate it like as we're working on it. So I'll be, I'll say, hey, let's look at the music for a second. Hey, this little note right here, we gotta make sure that's, a little softer than the others or whatever we might be working on.
I always wear the same type of clothes, like a uniform or something like that, because I want them to focus in my eyes and my hands and what we do here.
I really like this setup that I have, and I can talk about it a little bit. So I have this holder, which I can put my phone over here, and then the cool thing about Zoom is that you can log into the same Zoom from different devices. The students can, really understand what I'm playing, and while I'm explaining to them, they can also see. I also have this thing for light, so I bought this on Amazon. I can change the color of the light, and I can change how much light it's going to do, and etc., etc. So that's really helpful when I teach in different hours of the day.
I use a music stand to teach from, so when I'm playing, I can have the music right next to my iPad and play, so then they can still see my positioning as I'm playing, my left hand, and then they can follow what I'm showing them.
Sometimes you have to reach out and get them to get some of these tools so that they can use them for themselves as well. I have some apps and stuff that I always tell people to download that I think are helpful, like metronome apps to just for whatever you're doing, whether it's piano or guitar or any other instrument.
As a freelance instructor, you have to sell your own services to a certain degree if you want to make a living at this. So I think I frame at the beginning, first thing, this is a free introductory lesson. We are going to get a sense of whether this is a fit and whether you'd like to continue in the studio. At the end of the lesson, we can decide whether or not we want to continue. But when you frame it at the beginning, it's not really a shock when you get to the 25-minute mark. At the end of the lesson, it's like, I've really enjoyed this. Would you like to do it again for an hour next week and weekly from there on?
If I can, I try to show them at least an A scale, just to show them hey, yes, you can do this. Yes, you can play. Yes, you can make a decent sound. It's not going to take 2 years. You're getting a decent sound right now.
If they feel that they are learning, they're going to come back.
Yeah, I usually just kind of ask them hey, was that fun? Did you enjoy that? maybe we should do that again next week or something like that. I try to keep it very casual.
Foster and nourish the passion for music beyond everything else. It's above everything else. Try to really find for each and every student what is their thing, what is their strength, you know, instead of focusing only at what they're not good at so that we can like work on it. Because, you know, once you know what they're really good at and where they really feel that they can channel the music, then they can feel good about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, try to keep it fun. Ask the kids, like, what's your favorite music? What do you like to listen to? Because if you're trying to learn some song that you're not excited about, it's not usually that fun. Really following whatever it is that seems to get them fired up. And I just like try to pay attention to that.
With all my students, I always say, like, if it's not fun, leave it.
Grasping the courses that are on Tunelark and sharing those with students. For teachers, you have to keep growing. You have to keep studying and being inspiring. I feel like if you stop, that then you lose that motivation, you lose that inspiration, and then it shows in your own teaching, and it will carry over to your own students.
We need to be also kind of kind to ourselves. I don't think that I'm always doing the best job in the world, and I think it's okay, you know, it's a part of it.
Be honest. When you're honest to people, they give you honestly back.
I guess just to be really patient. Sometimes you have to explain something 3 or 4 times and find what approach makes the idea like sink in. Just because we all have our different ways of learning, and sometimes we're distracted, and, you know, especially in these kind of Zoom landscape, I guess you would say. I think patience is the #1 thing right now.